Welcome back to Sales Insights with Sarah. This is the podcast for sales professionals and business leaders looking to implement new strategies and drive sales growth in their organisations. I'm your host, Sarah Downs, and my guests and I will be sharing with you some of our own experiences in business and sales insights to help you gain focus and take action. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sales Insights with Sarah podcast. So today I'm going to be giving you 3 top tips on how to manage a remote sales workforce. Now, many businesses and sales managers are facing the challenge of having to evaluate, guide, steer, coach, manage their sales team from afar right now. And to some extent, the sales function has been dealing with this for many years. You know, many industries have sales representatives out on the road, doing sales calls at home, etc. But 2020 and beyond have significantly changed the selling landscape, and therefore how we manage salespeople, how we understand their performance, understanding what support and guidance we need to give them. Now, many sales managers and business leaders that have contacted me this year have been asking me for training, sales process, sales strategy, sales technologies, and asking me how they can better manage their workforce. So I decided to create this podcast episode giving what I believe are the 3 top tips to managing a workforce remotely. And hopefully these are going to add value, but also give people tangible things to go away and do as well. So tip number 1 is understand your team. So by increasing our understanding, not just of the team as an overview, but also the individuals within our team is critical. And I have been amazed at how many people don't put their time and effort into doing this. A lot of sales leaders will say to me, all I hear is excuse after excuse after excuse. No one in my team's taken personal responsibility. They're blaming the business, they're blaming me, they're blaming COVID. How do I overcome that? Or, I don't know if I have the right people to sell remotely. I don't know what my guys are like when they're on Zoom calls to our prospects. So, I think that what that tells us is we have to go deep. We need to understand if our team are making so-called excuses, what the reasons for that are. We need to know who is capable of social selling and who isn't, and maybe they need trained in that area or coached. We need to understand how video proficient our team are. So when they are getting on face-to-face calls and meetings or attending events and networking, how are they showing up? How are they going to be seen by the prospects or the network? Understand how much personal responsibility they're taking. If you're hearing those excuses, are they blaming external factors, or do they take an element of personal responsibility and ask themselves the question, how could I have done better? What could I do differently? And the other thing I think we really need to understand is their confidence. It's a really tough time. They're having to change how they work. They're having to pivot and could be a daily or a weekly at the moment. So how confident are they? How resilient are they as individuals? How much of them have that sort of figure it out factor, or do they really need you to manage them and tell them what to do every step of the way? So that's number 1, understand your team, truly understand your team. The second one is set KPIs that relate to the work they're actually doing right now. So a lot of business managers I work with, when I would look at the KPIs that they've set, they're focused on, how many air miles they're getting in, how many events they're attending, how many people have they taken out for dinner. There's a lot of KPIs that are set that no longer make sense. So we really need to make sure that if we're asking people to start following social selling strategies, if we're asking them to jump on X amount of Teams or Zoom calls, that the KPIs are actually relating to that. And I think this has just been an oversight this year. Things have had to change quickly, people have had to adapt quickly, and therefore they've maybe not caught up with themselves when it comes to process and, you know, the key performance indicators that are going to give us a metric and an understanding of where we're going. So that's number 2. And number 3 may sound like a simple one, but it's something I come across all the time, is motivate your people. Now, the first thing we need to do there is actually ask the question and have deep conversations on understanding what motivates them, and do not make assumptions. A lot of people assume salespeople are motivated by money, that they're extrinsically motivated, but this is not always the case. And I assess a lot of salespeople, and I would say that only probably 30% of those I've assessed are extrinsically motivated. So, you know, trying to motivate, you know, intrinsic people with money is not going to work. So, first of all, who is in your team? How are they motivated? And then what do you need to do as a business leader or a sales manager to motivate them, to get them through these tough times, to get them through the year ahead? So I think that's really important, especially with us moving into 2021, that we really have this in mind and understand, you know, what we need to do. So I'll go through those 3 top tips again. 1, and understand your team, truly understand them. Understand what support, training, coaching they need. Understand how well they're doing right now or not with things like social selling, their video proficiency. Think about how much responsibility they're taking, and think about how much confidence and figure out factor, etc. that they have. The second one is set KPIs that relate to the work they are doing. And the third one is motivate. Put time into motivating your people. So hopefully that helps. If you've got any questions, or if you want me to dive into any of that on a deeper level, please feel free to reach out to me. The best way to do that is using LinkedIn, or on the Sales Insights with Sarah Instagram page is also fine. And hopefully that helps. I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Sales Insights with Sarah podcast. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, so that you are notified of every new episode. If you could take a few minutes to leave a review, it would be greatly appreciated. See you next time.